We can sit here and be like, 30 is just an enigma and like it doesn't really matter. You're not going to believe that right now. Over time, do mental work and like reflect on
like
your
say
life.
it out loud.
Yeah.
Would you stay in a marriage if your husband cheated?
People change, people never change. I think people use those two phrases interchangeably when it fits the narrative. You guys, before we get into the episode, we just wanted to say thank you so much for clicking on our video. And if you like our content, please, please, please share it with your friends. We want to grow so that we can continue to do the podcast forever. And we're just so excited about the content and we just want more people to hear it if they're interested in this kind of content. So please share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel, subscribe to us on wherever you listen to podcasts, and let's get into it. Hello, everyone. And welcome back to your favorite podcast, Stop the Internet Podcast. I'm Kelee.
I'm Rebecca.
Where are we? We're in an undisclosed location.
You'll never know.
I know that you're dying to know, but you'll never know.
Nope.
All you know about us.
Classified, bitch.
All you know is that it's a green wall.
Mildly green.
Right. We're not in the studio today. We are recording in the wild.
Oh, yes.
We're literally in the wild right now. My original idea was to start an episode and then go out and like record at a bar or something with the interview mics. And I shouldn't even say with, I can cut that, whatever. With a different type of microphone. The Rode, like I just go into like the technicalities of the microphone.
Rode beauty.
No one fucking cares. Anyway, to get back to my idea, it was to record at a bar in the wild, but then I was like, what if it's loud? I've recorded things at restaurants before and it's just like so awkward if you don't give them a heads up, because then you have like this like massive camera, massive lens,
ring
microphone.
light.
I should have had a ring light because the lighting in there was just not it. But yeah, the waitress just keeps like coming over doing her job as she should.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm so sorry.
That's so funny. I thought about I texted Kelee yesterday about Park, doing it at Park if you're a Philly person.
Yeah.
Because I was driving past it. So many people outside just al fresco dining, you guys.
Yes.
'Tis the season. And I was like, this could be kind of fun if you set up the microphones like, well, we would have to go when it's dead, and it's never dead there. That's the problem.
Yeah. And I kind of think if we do that, I want to give the staff like a heads up.
Yeah.
Almost be like, can we just put our order in and then you like don't even have to come back, and we'll like obviously promote your restaurant that we love and we'll tip your staff very well. Like, I don't know, because I almost feel like it's weirder to not tell them. Well, I guess it's not weirder to not tell them, but then you're just gonna have like them doing their job and like in theory interrupting you. I don't know. But then I also think about like the restaurants in cities where you're sitting so like the restaurant, like we would be sitting this close to a stranger and like they're having their own conversation. They're on the other side having their own conversation. We're having our, so
that's
like,
you would have to go like so.
Oh, right. Cause
in the dead
you're saying
zone.
at an off time. Yeah.
Which like sometimes that's one restaurant that I go by sometimes. It's like, I mean, this is rare that I'm like there in that area in the weekday in the middle of the day, because then it's like, well, what am I doing there?
Right. We were talking about this before. I think we like went out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Last year there was like some weird time where some of our teacher friends or school worker friends were on spring break. You were like in between two jobs or something.
Yeah.
I am unemployed. Just kidding. Self-employed. I'm self-employed.
Self-employed, baby.
So we went out, and the brunch place we went to on like a Wednesday was so crowded.
Could not have been more crowded if it tried.
So crowded. We're like, what are you guys doing here? Because we know what we're doing here. But what are you doing here? Don't you have a job?
Wait, I saw a TikTok about this yesterday.
Oh, really?
Because a lot of people were saying it was like such a beautiful day yesterday. It hasn't been nice in so long. A lot of New York TikToks were like popping off, I guess. And all the comments, like the guy was saying the same thing you just said. And all the comments were like, we're unemployed. That's what we're doing.
But also, if you're unemployed, how are you here at this restaurant?
Yeah,
I mean, I guess
question.
people have money sometimes, but
I think in New York, it's a lot of trust fund situations going.
Yeah.
Or in Philly too.
I was gonna say, everyone in New York is privileged. Just kidding. Sorry.
But
cut that out.
sometimes it's like, I don't know. Do you need that much money to go to a breakfast restaurant?
That's a good point. True.
I mean, this is just a whole other topic we could go down, but it's like
the unemployment
I will
rate.
find, if I'm unemployed, I will find the money for brunch, okay? Like,
True.
That's not going anywhere. more.
True.
In my
Give them
life.
props. Yeah.
But no, that was funny. That was such a fun day. That
Oh my
was like
God.
a year ago.
It was so fun. We did so many things.
So many
in
things.
one day. That day, we were literally all over the city of Philadelphia. We were like Northern Liberties to Fairmount to Center City to Old City to Rittenhouse. Like, and that's probably not even it. Like, I don't even remember what we did. Yeah, we walked.
We bar crawled after brunch but we kept hanging out at night.
Yes.
And met up with other friends. Was that the night we went to Continental?
Yes. And we
oh my God, we were out till like 11.
Wow. This is just not a transition at all. Can we talk about the dentist?
Oh, yeah.
I just have a really quick thought about it, but you can tell your story if you'd like.
Okay, sure.
First. Sorry, I said that in such like but you can tell yours. I'm like, no, I just don't.
It's quick.
It's really more about you. So I didn't want to take I'm being selfish right now. I'm sorry.
It's okay. What? You can be. It's your podcast.
So odd right here because we're in this strange room. No, it's not mine. It's ours.
Yeah, you're right. It's
okay.
Ours.
Go on.
So the dentist, I went.
Tell us about your dentist.
It's like not that interesting of a story.
Okay.
It's okay. But like, why are we so awkward?
I was
right
just
now?
doing a bit, but then I was like, I'm gonna have to explain the joke that I'm doing, and in explaining it, I'm gonna do the rude thing that the bit is. Anyway, go on. I'll explain the bit after.
Okay, go off, queen. I went to the dentist recently-ish, and my jaw is fricked, you guys. Fricked. I don't know what. Here's the thing. I think I have a not lockjaw. What's it called when your jaw clicks? Is that lockjaw?
Oh my gosh, I don't know, but that's painful.
Yeah,
when your jaw clicks like that.
But I've always had it, so it's like.
Oh.
She was explaining it to me the last time I went there. Like, some people just have it forever, and if it's not painful, then you live with it. If it is painful, that's when you get surgery. So mine like acts up sometimes, but like I'm not trying to get surgery because then jaw surgery is so like it can really mess with your face if it's you know. But mine has really been hurting recently. Like, I'm not trying to like have a sandwich anytime soon, you know what I mean?
Wow. No, that's kind of crazy.
Like, it's so painful. But that's really the story. But I think it's because at the dentist, like, my mouth was open for so long. Normally, it's like they give you little breaks. Mm-hmm. And not necessarily to like relieve your jaw, but just to like spit. Sorry, I feel like I'm being really gross, but like it's what you do at the dentist.
Yeah.
Or swallow or whatever. I feel like I just didn't have a break. Like, I'm trying to think about this dentist appointment right now. It went like really fast. I'm like, is that it? Like,
okay, I was at the dentist the other day too. It was so fast. I was in and out within like 25 minutes.
Like, what's going on in the dentist industry?
I know. I was like, did you do it? Like, I know she's like the girl that did it for me is like so good at her job.
Same.
So I'm like, okay, you just like have it down to a science. Obviously it's science, but I was shooketh at how fast it was.
Same.
Yeah.
But not fast enough, clearly, because it messed up my jaw.
Wait, that's
like,
so sad.
I've been craving a sandwich from Middle Child. If I keep talking about Philly restaurants, but they're just on my mind. And like, shout out. Anyway, favorite sandwich of all time. They're so good. And I'm like, I don't think I can eat it. Like, it's gonna be really painful.
Ugh, that's sad.
But it's fine because it's also kind of expensive. So it's like, I don't need to be spending $20 on a sandwich right now.
Ugh.
But I love it. Nothing says like a turn of a season like your favorite sandwich.
True. And cherry blossoms. The dentist is
allergies.
True. The dentist is a weird time. I was telling Rebecca when she told me about her dentist story, I was saying that I was at the dentist it was one time and I was like, oh, it was the last time. And I was like, oh, it's not the last time. And I was like, wait, you know what? It doesn't fucking matter when it was. The last time. 10 times. Sorry. Do you ever like hear? Sorry, I have so many. This could actually be an episode where we don't even have, because I still have to go back to the bit that I was doing and explain that.
No.
Anyway, sometimes I do this all the time. And then sometimes I hear other people doing it. And that's where I notice and I self-reflect when people give like every single detail of a story. And it's like, I don't need to know the reason why you picked that dental office. I just need to know the juice of the story.
Yeah,
you know?
No, you're so right.
Like, I don't need it's literally that quote that Scott Disick said to Kris Jenner when there's like a Kardashians clip and he goes, do you want a drink? And she goes, and he goes, all right, I don't need your life story. So yes or no? And she goes, yes.
There are some people in my life, I'm so sorry, not you. Just like people like, what's the word I'm looking for? Peripheral maybe. But
adjacent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're not close enough where you can just tell them to like shut the F up. But I'm like, can you get to the point? Like, please. We're begging here. Like, goddamn.
Wait, that's so funny.
Like, I want to pull a Scott Disick on like several people sometimes.
It is so funny that
like
I know a person. It's not a friend. I just know who this person is, and literally talking to them is like a chore. And I'm like, girl, you gotta get to it. I've never said that, and I never will though.
Yeah. I don't even think I would say it to my best friend, you know? Like, it's like,
no, I wouldn't say it to anyone except myself.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I feel like that's something you cannot say to a person. I was gonna say I've had so many embarrassing moments at the dentist, and I try to get through it by telling myself like there's no way that I'm the worst. Like, someone has had to been like, maybe not as embarrassing, like I spit on the dentist by accident, or it was the dental hygienist, who's a very nice woman, and I literally don't know what. Okay, so there was all this water in my mouth that she was using to rinse off my teeth, and then they have that like sucking thing that sucks the water. Well, you have to close your mouth for it to suck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the sound bites from this story. And when I went to close my mouth, the water just like spit out of my mouth instead of like being contained in my closed mouth.
I see. Well,
and she was like right there holding the thing, and I was like, I am so sorry. I literally just spit all over you. And she was like, no, it's fine. It's fine. And I was like, what?
You know how many mouths?
I spit on her. But I'm like, okay, at least I am not the worst patient, I think. So I'm like, whatever.
No.
You know what?
You're not a smoker.
Whatever.
Like,
yeah.
You brush your teeth. That's all they need.
And then the last time I went to the dentist, the doctor came in and she goes, hey, how are you? Good to see you. How have you been? And I'm like, oh, good. How have you been? How have you been? And she started laughing at me. And honestly, I respect her for that.
Sometimes it's like you forget social cues, you know?
Yes.
You can't help it.
Yeah.
You have a lot going on. You're thinking about, do I have cavities? Like, do I have locked jaw?
I know. Can I explain the bit that I was doing before? It's like when you keep continuing to cut someone off. One of my favorite movies is Beauty Shop with Queen Latifah.
Wait.
Do you know it?
I do.
Oh my God. It's slept on.
It's really funny.
Oh my God. Really this is making me so happy. When
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I have seen it.
When I was a kid, there was like 3 movies that I watched religiously, and like I can quote them without them even playing. Aquamarine, She's the Man, and Beauty Shop. And like so if funny. I ever met Queen Latifah, I would bow down to her and be like, Beauty Shop is my childhood.
Yeah.
It's a work of art. You may have forgotten your lines, but I know them all. I love that movie. But anyway, there's a part where she is trying to give a speech to the employees, and this woman keeps going, go on, Gina, go on. And every time she goes to talk, the woman's like, you tell them. and then Gina goes, all right. And then she goes, they ain't gonna listen to you. It's just so, Queen Latifah's so good.
She's so funny.
She is so funny, and she's just like she's such a good actress. Anyway,
where has she been? Like,
I don't know. She was in Hustle, which I never even saw.
Hustle with
who? It's a basketball movie.
Oh, I never saw that.
Yeah, it was really popular. I heard it was good.
I saw Hustlers.
I know somebody that's in it. Hustlers.
With J-Lo.
Oh, never saw that.
That's good.
I think that was all of my
life updates.
Tangent to tangent to tangent.
Same.
Anything else?
If anyone has jaw tips, like for real, let me know. I'm in pain.
Oh yeah, the other embarrassing thing I did at the dentist was I did that jaw thing where like your mouth clicks, and she was like, are you okay? And I was like, I'm so sorry. Oh, and then my sister went to the dentist, and she had this other dental hygienist that works there, and she was texting me being like, oh, she's putting 2 and 2 together that we're sisters.
Oh.
And she said she called you Kelee for a year without you correcting her. And I was like, that is possible.
Yeah.
But some of them do call me my real name.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys don't know, my name is spelled weird, so it looks like it could be pronounced Kelee, but it's Kelly. So the front desk person, who is literally a like phenomenal person, like she's just like the person that you want to be working that job.
I feel that. You need a
kindest, like on her shit, knows what she like. I'm like, I would love to have.
I want to be you.
Yeah. Or like just
Deadass.
Everyone that's on like my team in life, I want it to be you.
Yeah.
Anyway, she calls me the right name, and I'm like, cool. Another embarrassing dentist moment.
They just keep coming.
Yeah. And you know what's weird? My dental hygienist is the cousin of my ex-coworker, and also I photographed her wedding, the coworker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so then I was at the dentist and we were somehow talking about wedding photography, and somehow it came up that I photographed this girl's cousin's wedding.
Right.
And I used to work with her cousin.
That's crazy.
I'm like, how the hell did we put that together? And then I was stalking another bride. Side note about me, I photograph weddings.
Heck yeah.
And another one of my brides, I was looking at her Instagram because I was trying to find the other vendors, like to see if she tagged like her florist, because I didn't know who it was. And she didn't, but I saw my other dentist in her photos.
Wow.
Literally, why are my dentists connected to everyone?
That's actually really weird.
Yeah. So weird, right?
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah.
We love
Connections.
an interesting intro.
Yes.
Quirky.
Well, I like it. I don't know if you do.
I do.
I do too.
That's all that matters. We're the ones here.
Yeah, true. True.
In the undisclosed location.
In this undisclosed location. Yeah. The other parts of this room are shocking.
Too bad you can't see it.
We're actually underground. Anyway,
We kind of look like it though.
We are.
We're filming at night, so it's like it's like the artificial light, you know?
Yeah. Should we talk about our main topic of the day?
Yes.
Okay. So today we're talking about, is this normal? And we're going to read some personal stories that, I say personal, they're not personal to us, but just like personal to humans. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about, is this normal? Because I do feel like that is a question that people ask a lot.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, so many things are normal. And it's like, for so many things, there's like such a spectrum of like the differences, like relationships, family, work, whatever, hobbies. And like, no matter where you fall on the spectrum, odds are it's normal.
Yeah.
But I think people get so like in their heads about things. And then I also think that so many people think that certain things are weird when they're not.
Yeah.
And I guess like a good example is what I was just talking about at the dentist. Like me spitting the water out of my mouth by accident. Like, yeah, sure, that's like a little bit embarrassing, but like
happens probably every day.
Yeah, probably multiple times a day.
Yeah.
Like you're spraying water into someone's mouth. What are the odds that it's never gonna come out?
Right.
Like,
right.
I don't know. And I just feel like I always see those TikToks where people are like, oh my God, I did the most embarrassing thing today, or like things that are embarrassing for no reason. And it's like walking to class alone when you're in college.
Yeah.
I actually feel the opposite. If you can walk alone, that's like very healthy.
Yeah, it's not weird at all.
No, it's
the
not
sooner you
weird
realize
at all.
that, the better life gets.
Yeah.
The more you get out of your own head about these things.
Yes. I definitely do sometimes get embarrassed, but it's not even really about like bigger things. Like I feel like I almost like shake off the bigger things like easier, but it's like these little things, like when I said to the dentist, like, how have you been? Like that's what I think about.
Yeah.
But then like, I don't know, bigger things, I'm like, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
You know?
I agree. Yeah, I'm for sure in my head about like the littler things as well, because I don't know how to describe it, but I just agree.
Yeah.
Like how I say hi to like the cashier at a coffee shop or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would bother me more if I felt like I said it weird than if I like spilled the coffee, if that makes sense. Like,
yes.
Like the bigger thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why though.
I almost feel like that's like a better, not better way to be, but like I kind of would rather that for myself, because those bigger things like spilling coffee by accident, like that is so normal.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it's annoying. Like, yes, it creates like a little bit of extra work for whoever's cleaning it up, whether it's you or the employees. But like, that's just how life is. Like,
yeah.
Things like that happen. I don't know.
Versus like how you were being perceived, I guess.
Yeah. Because like if you got so in your head about like those big things, aka spilling a drink, like I guess it's hard to explain what I'm thinking, but like those things happen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That you're like always going to be second guessing literally everything you do.
Right.
So like
calm down.
I'm kind of glad. Yeah, I'm kind of glad I don't like care as. No, I would feel really bad, but I guess I wouldn't be embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
I would feel very bad.
It's a different feeling.
Yeah, definitely. One time I knew someone, and I think I said like embarrassing moment or something like that, and he was like, I feel like you can't be embarrassed, like you don't do anything embarrassing. And I was like, oh, slide. He was like, not because like what you do, but because you just don't care about what you do. And I was like, I don't know what you're saying here, but it feels like a compliment, and I'm gonna take it as such.
Yeah.
but But really, I was like, no, that's kind of true. Like, because what? Am I going to worry about some like irrelevant, like friend of friend who like thought I was being a little too loud that one night?
Right.
Like, I was.
Right.
I was being loud.
That's so interesting. This reminds me of a college class I had. It was a communications theory class, and our first week of class, the exercise he had us do for the icebreaker, like literally, I hate them so much. But he was like, everyone has to go up in front of the room and say an embarrassing story. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not trying to act like I'm so up here, but I don't remember embarrassing stories, because I'm like, they're out of sight, out of mind. I'm not trying to like harp on my embarrassing moments. I'm sure if I really sat and thought about it, which I had to do obviously for the class, then yeah, I could come up with something. But I think the thing I said ended up being so stupid. Like, no one laughed. Like, it was just like, because I don't think about these things. Like, once they happen, I'm moving on as fast as humanly possible. Okay.
Wait, and also,
like,
that's such a weird, I get where it's coming from, because it seems like it would be lighthearted, but I kind of think that if people genuinely have like embarrassing moments that they actually care about, like, they could be traumatic.
Yeah.
Like a high school like bully did something to you and everyone laughed. Like, that's a really bad memory to bring up. And like, first day of class. It
was like a way to kind of, I feel like, separate the really funny class clowns who's gonna make everyone laugh with their embarrassing story from like people like me who are like awkward and like I don't even know. Like,
I do not know what.
Like, there were some funny ones. Because, yeah, like, it's all about how you tell a story. Like, maybe that was the point.
Oh, okay.
But I'm like, can we do it literally any other way? Like, actually, I do think I made something up. I think I made something up. Yeah.
Do you remember what it was?
I think I made up that when I was traveling through a train station, I, like, fell over my suitcase. Like, I think that's just what I said.
Wow.
And everyone laughed. Never happened.
Do you remember what the funniest one was?
No.
Nice.
What a waste of a class.
Give me my $70,000 back per year.
And on that note.
Okay, let's talk about, is this normal? First up, is it normal to get embarrassed? Okay.
Yes.
Should I have more friends?
Sorry.
And she is a 23-year-old girl. Lately, I've been thinking about how I don't have a lot of friends. I have 2 friends. One is states away, and the other, although we live in the same town, we see each other every couple of months. Sure, I have mutuals on socials from high school where we hype ourselves up, but none of which flourish into actual friendships. I didn't really mind this until I saw people post their galentines on social media and started to think about my friends, or lack thereof. A year ago, I cut off a 10-year friendship because I felt like they weren't kind or supportive. They would try to get at my partner. Ooh, that's bad.
Yeah.
And we're friends with my ex. Yeah. I sent them a text thanking them for the friendship we had, but felt that we drifted apart. They were respectful, and since then, I don't know how to make friends again. I would like to preface that my communication skills could be better, and I could initiate more conversation and hangouts. I have a partner that I've been dating for 4 years that I love and honestly takes up quite a bit of my time besides school and work. I don't want to sound like I'm pushing off our friendship for my relationship, but looking back, I do think that's the case. A lot of the time, I will send them videos that remind me of them or text them over random things, but nothing consistent or of substance. I'm trying to figure out if I'm a bad friend or should I be content with my 2 friendships? Am I the problem? Should I have more friends at 23? I do believe that my self-esteem could be better because I was never popular in school. This kind of mentality, I think, prevents me to put myself out there, but I'm 23 and I want to leave this behind.
Sad.
Yeah. I think that it's not necessarily like normal or like not normal to have any certain amount of friends, because finding genuine human connection is hard.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do struggle with that. Like, look how many people are single, or look how many people feel lonely. That's because it's hard to find, or it can be, I guess, hard to find people that you really genuinely connect with. But I think when you do find those people that you instantly click, or maybe just after getting to know each other a little bit better, you click and it feels easy to be with them. Wait, sorry. I don't even know.
No, you're fine.
I don't even know how I started that sentence or like where that was going. Sorry. Anyway, the point is it's hard to find it. So it's not like normal or not normal to have it or not have it. But I think just for your own happiness, like, human connections are fulfilling, in my opinion, for me at least. And I feel like you could only benefit from having more really healthy human connections.
I agree with that. And also, I think it's important to note, because she said something about Galentine's Day. Like, I think that's where social media has created this false sense of reality when it comes to friendships and human connection. Because it's like, you know, that week of Valentine's Day and you're scrolling on Instagram and you're seeing all of these Galentine's Day, like, cute reels and posts and, like, aesthetic dinner parties, and, like, I mean, I'm sure a lot of those friend groups are really genuinely close, but how many are just kind of like not, you know, or there's drama you have no idea about, or like half those people don't like each other, like, you just don't know. So don't let that make you think that you're the only one that doesn't have, you know, a female friend group that you're obsessed with and spend all your time with, because you're only seeing like the highlight reel.
Yes, that's such a good point.
So I think that's worth just always remembering. It's not like a groundbreaking thought, but I think it's helpful in a situation like that. Like you were saying, human connection is everything. So if you feel like you're genuinely missing that, especially with like female friends, I think it's easier said than done, but like joining Facebook groups is really, I think, number one right now in order to make friends. Like, it's really popping off on Facebook.
It honestly is.
Yeah. So maybe find like groups that you are local to your area, or even like get really niche with it and like search a hobby that you're into or want to be into, and then your city name, and guaranteed Facebook has a group for it.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Yeah, going off the point about social media being a highlight reel, I think also in social media, something that I've noticed is sometimes people post each other when they're actually not even friends. And it's more just like a positive thing, I guess, if you're on the behind the scenes of it. But I don't know, there's just been times in my life where I've noticed that people are closer on social media than they are off of it. Even just like people that I've met like a couple times that maybe like posted a picture of us on Instagram the like one time I saw them in 2 years.
Yeah.
And they're like, love you, or I don't know, not that that happens a lot, but I've noticed that it has happened where, yeah, people post about me or like our relationship, and I'm like, oh, this, I don't know, not in like a bad way. I feel like I'm sounding judgmental. More just like,
no, it's just an observation.
Yeah, like, just an observation that I'm like, this will come off as if we're close, but we're actually not. So it is, I feel like, important to remind yourself that sometimes on social media, other people are trying to like prove a point too.
Yeah.
You know, not that, oh my God, I feel like that just came off as me saying like people are using me to prove a point. I'll use like other people as an example. Like, I've seen two people post together and I know the reality and they're actually not that close.
Yeah.
But Instagram's a highlight reel, so you want to post everything that seems like wonderful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a really good thing to keep in mind. And then, yeah, I think it just honestly goes back to like the question of, should I have more friends? Do you feel fulfilled in your life? Because if you feel fulfilled with 2 solid friends and your partner and all the other things you do in life, then no, you're great. If you are genuinely fulfilled. But I think you have to ask yourself that.
Yeah. Like, separate what you think you should have versus what you actually want.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Just take a beat, reflect.
Yeah. And also you could test it out. You could be like, well, I don't know if I want more friends because I've never experienced that. So maybe that's when you start putting yourself out there and doing all those like how to make friends things as an adult, where you're like going to the class, joining the Facebook group, joining the adult sports league, and testing it out. And then when you get those like, oh, let's all go out to the bar, and you're testing this, when you're there, think to yourself, am I having fun? Like, am I enjoying this time in my life? Does this make me feel more fulfilled? Does this make me feel more stressed? And then you get to decide for yourself how many friends you retain or that you have in life.
Yeah. Your early 20s are tough with stuff like that too.
Yeah.
Because your college friends are kind of all over the place. Same with high school. And you're like entering this new world of adulthood in a job. You're like trying to like figure so many things out. So give yourself some grace.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's...
Yeah. Period. I keep saying take a beat, I've realized.
Oh my God. When
like,
I said to you the other day, take a bump. I couldn't think of the word take a beat. And I was like sending Rebecca a voice message about the podcast. And I was like, I think I just need to take a, what do they call it? Take a bump. And I think that's a drug.
Yeah.
Should I like not put that in?
No, because it's not like what you meant to say.
True.
Guys, it's 8:00. Like, what happened?
Today flew by. No, for some reason
it, like,
today
didn't, but it did.
It didn't. I don't know. I felt in such a weird
I was also
mood today. I do not know why.
Day.
I do kind of think the transition of the seasons is, I don't know.
It's jarring a little.
It is, because this winter was so short. Like, it is mid-March right now.
I know.
And it feels like how it felt last May.
Yeah. But I think next week's going to get colder.
Oh, yeah. I guess
again.
we're having false spring.
Yeah.
That we have here on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm. Sure are.
This one, I think, might be a little bit hard. So
okay.
we can go slow and think out loud.
Okay.
I have never had a relationship in which I didn't get the ick. Is this normal? This is a 33-year-old woman.
Okay.
I have gotten the ick around every partner my entire life. It doesn't matter how much I love or like someone, about a month or two in, if that, I start feeling an ick. Kissing, touching feels empty, grosses me out, and I feel I need space from them. Is this normal? I never saw this same feeling coming from my partners. To the contrary, they seem to feel more bonded and intimate with me over time, while I felt myself craving more distance because of this ick feeling in the pit of my stomach. I do know I deal with a ton of childhood trauma, but I'm not sure if there's a condition that fits this or if there's a name for this feeling. It keeps me from feeling deeply because I can't get past the feeling, and I'm getting too old to be dealing with this. I used to push partners away when this feeling would start, thinking I just didn't have chemistry with them or something was dying. But how can it be with every single person I've been with? Over a decade of relationships and getting this feeling. All I have kept telling myself over the years is, this just isn't my person. But I can't go a lifetime like this. Can anyone relate?
I almost feel like unqualified to give advice because when she said, like, is this a condition? Maybe it is. Like,
yeah.
You know? But also, when she said relationships, I thought she was going to go into a whole different story of, like, she was getting the ick, like, 2 years into a relationship. And then when she said a month to 2 months, I'm like, is that a relation? Like, you're just not giving it enough time, maybe? Like, that's, like, very short amount of time.
Yeah.
So, what are you considering a relationship, number one? And number two, like, maybe it's not a condition. You just need to give it, like, longer than 2 months.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not qualified to talk about the, like, is this a condition side of things, but I do want to talk about the ick and, like, that side of it, because I kind of feel like the ick is, like, getting out of hand.
Yeah.
And so it is possible that it's not a deeper condition. Like, it might be. Like, that definitely might be this person's problem. But I do think that some people also have the problem where they just get the ick over, like, superficial things that don't actually matter. And I feel like now, like, especially because of, like, the culture surrounding the ick, it's, like, even worse. It's almost like people can't do anything right.
Yeah, this is where culture, like, bothers me. Like, to be so honest here. I just think it's like everything's an ick, like you were just saying. Everything is an ick. You go on TikTok, it's like someone ranting about this man did this and it gave me the ick. I'm like, it's a very normal thing to do. Like, yeah. So what is not giving you the ick is the question. Actually, that is a question for this woman. Like, what doesn't give you the ick? Write a list. Yeah. That's my advice. Write a list.
No, that's a good point too. Cause like these things that people talk about that are so superficial, that are like, I really loved them, but I saw them do X, Y, and Z and it gave me the ick. And it's like the stupidest thing. Like, I saw him peel an orange and he started it with a knife rather than starting it with his disgusting fingers. It's like those little things that's like, so you think this man is perfect, but because of the way he peeled the orange, you're going to end this relationship. Like, that's on you, you know? And then that makes me think, do you actually like them? Like, do you actually think that they are perfect? Because I would think that for most people, the way that their partner peels an orange is not a non-negotiable.
Right.
And like, that's just an example. Like, all these little things that like give people the ick. Like, it's always like such a trope to say, I saw him chasing the ping pong ball during beer pong.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, that's like
that's
a funny.
funny.
No, it's definitely funny. And like, that is an actually embarrassing thing because you're in this like vulnerable position that like just looks so strange from an outsider, like as someone watching that, but whatever. No, I get it. But if someone was literally perfect and you were really forming like a deep human connection with them and then they did that, would you really be like, oh, ick, bye? Like, I think that you probably just don't like them as much as you think you do.
Right.
If these little things are enough to like actually make you end it, or maybe you're just being superficial and you want like this idea of a perfect person that never does anything quirky or weird, when that's never gonna happen because everyone is fucking weird unless they're not not a real person.
Unless maybe you should date AI.
Yeah, maybe you should date a robot.
Yeah.
Maybe you should get a little Jimmy Neutron robot dog and test it out. Maybe you should start talking to Siri a little bit more.
I'm just so hung up on like the month and 2 month thing of it all. Because I'm like,
yeah,
that stage is, especially the first month, it's so like, not always, but oftentimes it is more superficial. Like, you don't really know this person. So like you're not even giving these men a chance.
Yeah, I feel like this person, the problem might be like a little bit deeper, but
yeah, I agree.
But I also feel like a lot of people our age, like in their 20s, when they're in this like transitional period where they're dating a lot, trying to find a life partner, and they're seeing all these things on social media and other people's relationships that are like, this is weird, this is ick, blah, blah, blah. It does kind of create the like writing people off for these really little things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's good. So maybe this specific person isn't doing that. Maybe they have a deeper problem. But in general, like if anyone relates to this story, maybe like ask yourself, instead of saying, oh my God, I got the ick, haha, or are you just superficial and judgmental?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it's okay to be judgmental sometimes when it comes to like the person that you're dating, because you do have to make judgments about the people that you surround yourself with. But are you writing people off too quickly? And if so, like, do you actually like the person?
Are you chronically online?
Literally. Seriously.
Like, you're listening to too many, like, this is a red flag, this is an ick.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like, what do you qualify as a red flag and an ick? And, like, figure it out.
And also, really ask yourself, is this genuinely a problem, and would it create like trust issues, relationship issues for us? Because if you're like, if he doesn't make TikToks with you, red flag. If he doesn't want to post you on Instagram and like constantly every single day on his story, red flag. Like, that's not necessarily a red flag. Maybe he just doesn't like TikTok. Maybe he just doesn't want to post on Instagram.
Right.
My boyfriend, we have a very healthy, honest, open relationship. I trust him completely. He just doesn't want to be in every vlog. He didn't want to be in like specific content that I've put out. Like, red flag? Like, no, he just requested to not be a part of certain things. And like, I feel like it would be easy to be like, well, he doesn't want to be seen with you, red flag. It's not about that.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of have to trust people if you're in a healthy relationship and they have shown you time and time again that you can trust them.
Yeah.
I guess the red flags thing is a little bit different than the icks. But
yeah, it's different, but it's all this under the same umbrella.
Yeah, like writing people off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a little too wishy-washy out here. Yeah. In the culture.
Like, if you couldn't make a TikTok about this ick that you have, would you have broken up with the guy?
Ooh. Now that's a question for the culture.
Because some of these things, I'm like, oh, he opened a pack of gum wrong and you broke up with him.
Wait, one I heard, this is actually, some of them are kind of funny.
Oh no, they're funny. That's why it's like,
I know, but
so
like
widespread.
I know, but like the one was like, if he wears a backpack.
Oh, what? Wait, I feel like backpacks are like,
I know, but that's why it's funny.
I would rather see someone wearing a backpack than like, I don't know, some other things that I can't think of.
It was just one of those.
Wait, a backpack? Like, would you end your marriage over this? Like, if you were already married and they did it?
I would sure hope not. I would sure
a backpack?
Hope not.
Maybe that's not the best advice to, like, think about icks, because, like, in a way, I do think that certain icks could be telling of, like, if you actually like this person. Because if these little things turn you off, like, maybe it was never meant to be. Mm-hmm. But I just do think that a lot of them are, like, judgmental. Yeah. And it's like, you're just looking for someone that does not exist. Because if even like these things that girls are like, oh, I can't take it if a guy did this, I'm like, I do that all the time. Like, that's a very everyone does it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. The ick thing is a lot.
It's a lot, but I think we gave great advice to this lady.
Yeah, except nothing about her deeper problem. That's honestly, she should go to therapy though, like, so that the therapist can tell them everything that we just said, and then if that's still not her problem, then they find her real problem.
We're the therapy before the actual
therapy. No, okay. Seriously, what we just said, if what we just said solves your problem, you're welcome. If it doesn't, then now you invest in therapy. And I think that's fair.
Then you go the professional route.
Yeah.
We never claimed to be professional. Okay?
Exactly. I never even said this was going to be good advice. Yeah. I just said it's going to be my advice.
I do think it's good though.
Yeah. This is this one.
Nuanced?
No. I don't
my
think
favorite
so.
word.
There's a tiny bit of nuance in this. I'm like leading up to
I'm
it.
intrigued.
Can I get a drum roll?
Yes.
Has anyone found their partner more attractive the longer you spent together? I started dating my boyfriend about a month ago. Him and everyone who knows me knows that I have a specific type that I'm attracted to. My boyfriend is handsome, but people have told me that they're surprised we start... Rebecca. Someone said something very similar to Rebecca about like a very like attractive, well put together guy.
Yeah.
Basically, oh, I'm surprised that you're dating them. What? Why don't you slap me across the face instead? Okay.
I'm just gonna head out.
I'm like,
I'm just gonna leave.
Okay. Okay.
I will see myself out.
Literally, that's such an insult.
I think we all like this man.
Whatever.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so back to this story. I'm more attractive. Okay. They were surprised we were dating because he was nowhere near what they thought my type would be. I didn't take any offense to that because it was kind of true. Okay, that's a weird...
Wait, can you say that again? Sorry.
So, my boyfriend is handsome, but people have told me that they're surprised we started dating because he was nowhere near what they thought my type would be.
This is like... Okay.
That's such a weird thing to say to someone.
It's so, like, backhanded.
Yes.
I hate it.
Like, okay, I could see, I feel like I've had friends that have like a very specific type, like maybe they're into like, I'll use celebrities instead of like styles because I don't want anything to seem like an insult, but like, yeah, if you're always into guys that look like Timothée Chalamet and then maybe you go for a guy that looks like John Cena and you're like, oh my gosh, wow, you're always into like the baseball player and now you're dating the football player. Like, that's so surprising. But at the same time, I don't think I would ever say that to someone.
It's still insulting, even if...
Yeah.
I'm trying to not make it about like attractiveness, but like Timothée Chalamet and John Cena are both attractive in their own right.
That's what I mean.
But when you say it like that, you're like, it just, I don't know, like there's something so grating about it. Like,
yes, literally, I'm like brainstorming, like, okay, two attractive guys. I'm like, oh, but I didn't. There's no way to say that you're not like being shady.
Yeah.
Or just like rude.
Yeah. Right. I
I don't know. If anything, I feel like you should encourage your friends to like give more people a chance if they like, I don't know. Well, you know what? We'll get into it.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't take any offense. Like, okay, cool. Don't take this the wrong way, but physically, my boyfriend was not really my type. I love his personality and how compatible we are, but yeah, I think he is super handsome, but there wasn't a spark for me when we first met compared to my past crushes. That aside, 1 month later, and I think he is the most handsome man I've ever met. We hang out a lot and go on at least one date a week. The more we talk, the more I get to know him, the more I fall for him, personality-wise and physically. Is this normal, and does anyone else have similar experiences? I've heard of stories saying how 1 month is too fast for these feelings, but I just want to see him and talk to him every day.
Oh,
this seems so healthy.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This seems so healthy to me.
The spark is kind of made up. Like, what even is the spark?
I do think that what is like stereotypically the spark.
Like, I think what it, yeah, I'll let you go.
I don't know. It's hard to put into words because while I think a lot of people do feel a spark and there is something, it's not necessarily what like you see in movies where like there's like a light coming from behind them and you hear like orchestras in your mind. Like,
yeah,
I think if you're feeling that, you're being delusional because you don't know someone when you're on a first date with them and they're a stranger. So regardless of how much you think love at first sight exists, interest at first sight, obsession over the idea of this person at first sight, sure. And maybe it turns into love later. And then so you walk around saying, oh, I knew from day one. No, you didn't. Because how many guys did I say that about?
Yeah.
And where are they now?
Mm-hmm.
No, you didn't know. You didn't love them the first day you met them. And if you did, that's your problem. That's actually a problem.
That is a problem. It's like a spark. I shouldn't say it doesn't exist. It's just, it does grow over time. Like she's saying, like that is normal for something to grow
100%
over time. If you're feeling this giant spark on a first date, like, yeah, you're right. It's like you're creating this idea based on someone's very surface level qualities. Like, yeah, that's where the spark is coming from, because you're like, oh, they look like this, they dress like this, they did these things within the 3-hour time span, like, oh my god, I'm in love with them. Like, that's not real. That's not a real thing. Yeah, that's like your guess about them based off of, like you said, the surface level things that they are presenting to you. Yeah. So you can like the idea of those things, but yeah, you don't actually know the person. And I find it like kind of almost like sad that she's like second guessing, because
she's like, she clearly does find him attractive. And it almost seems like it's the people in her life that are like, oh, wow, I didn't expect you to, like, would you be asking this question if they didn't say that to you?
Right. Probably not.
I feel like you're answering your own question. Is it normal to find someone more attractive as you get to know them? Well, it's normal for you because it just happened for you.
Yeah.
So why does it even matter if this happened to anyone else? It doesn't matter if anyone else has ever taken 5 weeks to find their partner attractive and now they're the happiest they've ever been. Like, that's what happened for you. And it seems like you're in a happy, healthy relationship. So that's all that matters. But the answer is yes. I think I've heard a statistic that I already said this on the podcast in the past, I think, but I think I've heard a statistic that like a crazy amount of women, like 70 or 80% of women did not find their partner attractive like the first time they saw them or something. I don't know where that stat is from. I feel like I probably saw it on TikTok or something. But honestly, it does seem likely because I personally know a lot of girls like that where maybe like the first time they met, they're like, yeah, like just taking things slow. And they're like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like this is coming off like negative, but like, I don't know. I just don't think that I actually think it's better to, not better because it's not like it's bad to go for people you're attracted for, but to give people a chance is very good in my opinion.
Yeah.
And not to just like write people off because they're not, think of like your celebrity crush, you know, if they don't look exactly like that person, are you just never going to date them? Like you got to give people a chance if you want to find human connection.
Yeah.
And yes, feelings do grow and physical attraction literally grows, especially for women.
Well, I saw a TikTok about this. Maybe it was the same one.
Yeah, probably.
But women fall in love with like, this makes it sound like men are like, I'm not trying to make this like, oh, I hate men, but like it really is statistically true. Women fall in love with a personality. Men fall in love with, at first, looks.
Yeah.
Like within those first couple months at least, like it's more about, I don't know, I feel like I like shouldn't even like say that, but like it's a statistic.
It's not, I feel like let's not even use the word men and women. The male brain is like more chemically wired to do that, and the female brain is more chemically wired to do that. Of course there's going to be anecdotal times where like, well, my guy friend did this. Of course there's 7 billion people on the planet. Like some of them are going to stray from the statistic and be the antidote be the outlier.
Anthropologist over here.
Yeah, but like for the most part, that is true of the male brain and the female brain, and that's where statistics come from. Yeah. So I don't need any comments that are like, well, actually, I know 3 men that did this. Yes, I know you do, and so do I. We all do. But statistically, it's true.
Yeah, and that's why it's like
I'm mad about it. No, I really am though.
Yeah, that's why 70% or whatever of women takes time to like, you know, whatever.
And I really feel like that's healthy because that means that you are falling in love with who they truly are, not who you think they are based off a surface level idea of them that you create in your own brain.
Yep.
I think that's healthy.
I think we are cracking codes over here.
Yeah.
In this undisclosed location, left and right.
Yeah. I don't even know what city we're in.
We just are spitting facts. Like...
This is going to be real quick for all the people that are interested in romantic relationships with women. Is it unrealistic to only date women who have never cheated before? I was talking to a woman and she said every woman she knew in a relationship had cheated in the past, and that any woman who has had multiple relationships who says they hadn't would just be lying to me. How accurate is that?
Wait, what? Okay, well, if we're talking statistics, I would think it'd be men who are more likely to be cheaters. So that's interesting. But I guess that's just in her orbit.
Right. I don't know who this person is talking to, but I'm going to think of my 10 closest girlfriends, and I have no evidence that they've ever cheated on anyone. And I've never cheated on anyone.
I am confused. Hashtag confused.
Yes.
Okay, but while we're on the topic of cheating, do you believe that once a cheater, always a cheater? Like, are you of that mindset?
Okay. I don't know. I will say I'm lucky enough to have never been cheated on. I've also only had 2 like official label it relationships. So there was times where I was like entertaining a man and they had other people and they were lying about it, but we weren't like in a relationship, you know?
Yeah.
So I can't say I've actually ever been cheated on, but I think that the idea of like people change, people never change, I think people use those 2 phrases interchangeably when it fits the narrative that they are telling. So when it comes to bad people, everyone is quick to say, well, people don't change, so he's never going to change and be better. But then when you you used to have a healthy relationship and now it's turned sour, it's like, well, people change. Wait, so do people change or do they not change? They do. People change every single day. I think people change, but two things are true at once, you know? Not every single person changes for every single issue. So while someone could change, they're not necessarily going to change that exact thing. So once a cheater, always a cheater. I think some people yes, some people no. And I know that's not a helpful answer, but I do just think that's true.
I agree, because some people are good people and some people are bad people.
Yeah. And some people make choices of negative character, and some people see what they did and they're like, okay, that was a negative choice and I'm going to be a better person and make a high character decision next time.
Yeah.
And some people don't. So
would you stay in a marriage if your husband cheated?
Oh my God. I mean,
like, I think about this sometimes. Not that I think this is like gonna happen, but I'm just saying, like,
anything could happen.
Sometimes, like, I watch Real Housewives, and this is often a storyline, to be honest, of like cheating husbands, wives, etc.
Wait, Real Housewives is a scripted show, right?
Oh no, it's the Bravo.
Oh, okay, sorry. Show. I was thinking Desperate Housewives.
Oh, yeah,
okay,
no.
Got it.
And so I'm like, some have stayed, some have divorced. And there have been like interesting conversations too, where they're kind of like amongst the women being like, oh, you have to respect yourself. But it's like, does staying and working on it mean you're not respecting yourself? Like, it's just always interesting, I guess, to like, it so depends on the couple and what the cheater is willing to do to rectify the situation, I guess. Like, I don't know.
I can't speak for marriage because I've never been married, but I do think that it would really depend on the situation of life that you're in, because if it was in a dating relationship, I would think I would, because I do want to get married in the future, I think I would immediately end it, because that just shows me that I will never be able to trust you.
Yeah.
Even though, like, to go from a very serious dating relationship and then just like putting a ring on it, inherently it actually doesn't change that much in a good way. You just have this weird like title that weirdly people think solidifies it a little more than it was before, but also most of the time it actually doesn't change anything except your psychological like judgment of that person's relationship. But anyway, so I do value like the idea of marriage though, and I do want to get married, and I don't want to marry someone that cheated on me in the past. So I would break up with someone dating. If it was like the first few years of marriage, I think would be the same. But like if I'm like 60 and I've been married for 30 years and I don't know, like maybe I will have a different mindset then and be like, okay, well, here's all the things I've learned in my life, here's all the things you've learned in your life, this is a mistake, this is like a betrayal, but like, can you come back from it and change? Like, I don't know. Therapy, couples
counseling, etc. I just think it's an interesting conversation, but it's also kind of depressing to think about. Like,
oh my God, I know,
we don't really gotta think about that yet. Hopefully ever.
I think anytime it's like early on in a relationship, you are then like showing that person how they can treat you. And it's like especially early on in dating, like the first few years of dating, and even like first few months sometimes, like you sometimes need to teach people how to treat you and like what is okay with you and what's not. And like if you say like, oh, don't cheat on me, like we're exclusive, and then they cheat on you and you stay together, like what is that showing that person? That's showing them that this decision that you two made together means nothing. Because regardless of if they adhere to the decision or not, the same outcome is going to happen, and that's we remain in this relationship. So that's how I feel about it in dating, at least.
No, I agree with all of that. Dating, it's easier to get out of. You know,
there's no legal paperwork involved,
and hopefully no kids. So
possibly, true.
But
so what was the question? It was we finished that question, right? It was your question. It was the thing about
I just kind of
do cheaters always cheat?
Threw a curveball in there.
Wait, it would be so interesting to have someone that cheated on the podcast and like talk to them.
Oh yeah.
And be like, what was the decision you made? And like, where did it come from? How did you feel about your partner? And like do a deep dive into like, they don't even have to put their face on. See, the thing is, like, I don't even know anyone that has cheated on their partner. I mean, that I know of course, like people try to get away with things and like lie about it, but
the lying,
I really don't think I know anyone that has like cheated on their partner and like, I guess the thing is not gotten away with it.
Right.
Because if you get away with it, then like no one's ever gonna know. Probably. Interesting.
Nuanced.
Nuanced.
I think we should do part 2 like literally next week.
Okay. I am a 29-year-old male who is turning 30 in a month and recently have been dreading about being single. Context. First off, I am normal. I have to clarify this. I'm 6'0", 175 pounds, blonde, work out, good shape, have friends. I would say I'm conventionally good looking, or good looking enough. I just purchased a single family home. I move in next month and I have a dog and a nice boat and a well-paying 6-figure job. Holy shits.
Sir.
Wow. Literally, where do you live though? Because the boat, like I could find you a single girlfriend of mine to
in 5
take
seconds.
on your boat.
Yeah.
I have had multiple serious girlfriends in my 20s, but all of which I have ended for one reason or another. I've always told myself that I would rather be single and happy than unhappy in a relationship. With that being said, I have yet to find the right person to connect with and lately have been feeling generally hopeless. Turning 30 in a month and seeing all of my friends in serious relationships and getting married, and I am here. Also, it's getting progressively harder to meet people. In our early 20s, we were all single and would go out and meet people at bars and events. Now I hardly have anyone to go out with and honestly sometimes just take my dog to outdoor breweries and listen to live bands, but that hasn't been working. I am struggling to meet people and I'm afraid time is slipping through my fingers and I will not meet the person I want to spend my life with. Am I being dramatic about all of this?
No, you just described like all of 2023 for me. So
oh yeah.
No, not the part about like, I don't know, I related
having a boat.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's actually my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
No, not like necessarily like feeling left out or feeling lonely, because I'm still at a point where like I have a good amount of single friends and like everyone's kind of like all over the place, so I didn't really relate to that as much, but I definitely related to, you know, you go on a lot of dates and you're just like not connecting with people and nothing is clicking. And it does kind of get to a point where you're like, am I the problem? Like, am I just being too picky? Are my standards too high? Like, I'm not, you know, asking for the moon here. But I think it speaks to our dating culture. Like, for real, it's not good.
Yeah.
It's just really not good. And so I hate to say that it like comes down to luck, but like...
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean, it sounds like you're doing all the right things. Like you're going out trying to meet people organically. The problem with that, though, is that it's like a trickier territory because you don't really even know if girls are single or,
right.
You know, there's like different things at play than there is with online dating. But it's just hard in general, you know?
Yeah. I think that like the panicking is definitely normal. Like, to want a relationship is so normal. So if that's the problem, if like the root of the question is how do I find love, go watch the episode that Jimmy and I did on meeting people in the wild. We've talked about so many times, like when you want a relationship, tell people that you want a relationship. Like it's not, in my opinion, it is not desperate to tell your friends like, hey, I really want a relationship. Like I am ready to find my person. If you know anyone who's single, like I will go on a date with them. I'll try it out. Anyone you think could be a good match, like put it out there, because one, if people don't know, like I'm not saying this guy's friends are like oblivious, like obviously a lot of times people are trying to like always set their single friends up with people even if they don't want a relationship, but like even just telling, like, I know it sometimes comes off as a joke, but like anyone you think of, like, oh yeah, if you know anyone or if you meet anyone that you think could be a good match, like I'm looking, and that comes off in like a lighthearted way, but it's still serious because that is how most people I feel like meet their life partners, either friends of friends or like on a dating app. So yeah, there's tons of advice about like how to meet people and where. The idea of like, is it normal to feel nervous and like being in this like weird headspace about it? I think that that's like the more interesting question, and it totally is normal, but and it is sad because when you're in that like I'm so lonely and like I can't even find someone I like, let alone we both like each other at the same time and we're both in the same life phase and like ready to do this. Right. It's so hard, and it sucks when all of your friends are in these other life stages. As a wedding photographer though, I really feel like most of my clients are like 35 though.
I was gonna say people are getting married later.
Yeah.
So I understand the panicky feeling of being 29 and like you kind of feel like you're on the cusp of something, but like try to just not think about it as like, oh, by 30 you have to have all these things. Like you have to have career, money, you know, house, and like a wife. Like that's just not realistic, and it's also not like even the norm.
Yeah,
not in this economy.
No, really, I feel I agree. Yeah, I think that there's such a stigma around the age 30, and it's like, oh my god, I'm turning 30 and I don't have a relationship, like I don't have any of the things like you mentally tell yourself that you should have, and like all of your friends have it. So getting out of that mindset is damn near impossible.
It's hard,
especially if you've been in it for so long.
Yeah,
and it's like I try and try and try and I cannot find it. But if you want it, you kind of just have to keep trying. And then on top of that, just like maybe try to fulfill all the other things in your life.
Yeah,
at least try to fulfill the things that you can control. So like you can't control if you meet your soulmate at the bar tonight, but you could control like all the other activities you do during the week and like those kinds of things, other things that you're passionate about that are fulfilling. And then also, we were kind of talking about this before we started recording, but like all these like inspirational quotes that's like, you don't have to have it all figured out by 30, like you don't have to have like the perfect body or whatever. It's like you can tell yourself that stuff all day. Like every quote about like love yourself, like love who you really are, your body doesn't matter, your whatever doesn't matter, you're happy, you can be happy single. They're all just words until you actually believe them. So yeah, we can sit here and be like 30 is just an enigma and like it doesn't really matter, but like you're not gonna believe that right now, but just try to believe it over time. Like do mental work and like reflect on your
say
life.
It out loud.
Yeah. And don't just be like, oh yeah, 30, I'm fine. Like, I don't need to have that stuff figured out. Like, really, really try to believe it.
Yeah. And also, I think on the note of trying, and this is like harsh advice, but I think this is also coming from personal experience where before like last year for me, I'm like, I thought I was trying and I was not trying.
Oh my God, I don't try at all.
Yeah.
I need to try so much harder.
Yeah. But with like certain things like dating too, it's like, oh, I thought I was trying. I thought I was putting in the work and like, you know, whatever, like going on dates and really putting my best foot forward. And like looking back at some of the dates I went on early last year or like 2022 especially, I'm like, I was not trying. Okay. So like, I think if you're so upset with being single, really ask yourself, like, am I trying? Like, am I really trying that hard? Like for how badly he wants a relationship? Like, I don't know. Sometimes you have to just like have some tough love with yourself and be like, am I actually putting in the work that I think I'm putting in?
Yeah.
You know?
No, it is very easy to trick ourselves into thinking that we are working hard or doing the things that we want to do. And it's like, it's almost like the more you talk about things, the more you trick yourself into thinking you already did them. So instead of, well, even though I literally just said talk about them, I was like, talk about it. But like, I don't know.
And do it.
Yeah, and do it.
It's a two-part story.
Don't let the talking about it trick yourself into thinking you're actually doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Because it's almost like saying, I worked so hard. And then maybe like you let yourself slack off because you're like, I worked so hard. Like I can take the last hour of my day off. Yeah. And you're like, I worked so hard. Like I can slack a little bit more today. I worked so hard. And it's like, you're telling yourself that over and over again, but eventually you're not actually working hard. You're just like convincing yourself you do.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So not that that's exactly the same issue.
It all comes around.
Yeah. But it definitely sucks. I fucking hate when you're like really in a season where you want something and you, especially a relationship, because like friends, like it is easier to make friends because you can have like tons of friends. It doesn't matter the number. But with a relationship, like you need to, like, not that you can settle with friends, but you can accept some friendships that aren't perfect.
Yeah.
Because maybe they serve like one need to you.
Yes.
Your relationship, like you can't settle on that because you only get one.
Yeah.
If you're
lucky.
Looking for that. Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, exactly.
That was really profound.
Was it?
I don't think we can do better than that.
I know. This was so fun.
This was so fun.
We're literally going to do part 2.
Yes, we are. ASAP.
Literally, let's start now.
Okay.
Sorry, I just said literally.
Gonna change my hat.
Yeah. I'm gonna put it on. What if we just did that? What if I just put on your hat?
Yeah.
And we just immediately start.
Tricksters.
Yeah. Okay.
No, we're gonna go eat dinner.
Yes.
Oh my God, we are so European right now.
What time is it? I don't even want to tell them the time. It's 8:49 p.m.
Should we move to Spain?
Probably.
Okay. We're really on our traveling grind lately.
How do you say, adios? Is that how they would say? Because I know
think so.
Spanish is different a little bit.
Yeah.
In like Mexico to Spain.
The dialect, if you will.
Do they say adios in Spain? Maybe.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. Adios? I was a French minor.
Ciao. Italian.
That's Italian.
Ciao, bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Bonsoir.
Good night.
Was that good?
Yeah.
Good night.
It's been a minute for me. I gotta brush up. I used to be able to kind of, yeah.
I want to speak another language.
I got A's in my French class.
I want to speak Spanish so bad. I can a little bit.
Salut.
Gracias para. Oh my God, how do you say listen? I know how to say listen. Ayuda. No, that's help. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Next episode is fully in Spanish. You heard it here. I'll speak in Spanish. She'll speak in French.
Oh my God. Wait, we should.
That would be so fun.
We should try to do like a little segment.
Oh my God. I would literally love to try to say sentences in Spanish and see how much I would not be able to.
I can't do it right now because I'm like under pressure. There's like cameras and lights.
Yeah. And if you don't say it now, you're getting like, this will be the end of you.
Yeah. I have a degree, okay? I'll pull it up.
Slay.
Slay.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
Slay lovey.
I was literally about to say slay. Slay. To the Slay Lovey.
I'm a genius. Wait, that's
I love Slay Lovey.
That's a good caption.
So good. Yes. Wow.
Okay.
Thank you guys for listening to our podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.